Welcome. You're watching Nantucket Community Television's 2020 election coverage. I'm Charlie Walters, and with me right now is Barbara Mendez, who is the independent candidate for the Nantucket County Register of Probate. Barbara, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Tell us why you're running for this office.
Well, moving to Nantucket 3 years ago, I just really fell in love with it. And I feel like I can give so much to the community as Register of Probate. I currently work for the state. I feel like I can give so much, my customer service, my background, my experience. I'm also bilingual. I feel like I can help the Spanish community a lot. I feel that my experience within the court system, I can provide so much to the public. So I feel that me being part of the probate court will allow me to help so much through the process. Because I know that going through the court system is really nerve-wracking. Me to be on the other side, I've been through the family court system, so I know how it is to be nervous and scared. So I just feel being able to provide that experience, not only within the office, but as another, as a public, I feel like I can help them a lot.
I want you to talk about what the job entails, but before we do that, tell us more about your background. You said you've been here for just 3 years. Where were you before then? What were you doing?
I used to live in Seekonk, Massachusetts. I was living there for almost 12 years. I was working at the Fall River District Court as a case specialist. I was there for 2 years, and then an opportunity came up in Nantucket District Court as another position for a case coordinator. The reason why, I'm sorry?
Let me stop you there. What is a case specialist?
Case specialist is the person that really handles mostly the clerical support in the clerk's office of district court. Everything from answering the telephones to handling the counters to providing assistance to the sessions clerk in the courtroom, entering all the cases. Usually my background to the clerk's office was handling the mental health, the section 35s and the section 15s.
And what are those?
Those are for the mental health. So if someone has an alcohol or substance abuse and the individual can't get help on their own, a petitioner, what's called petitioner, family member or spouse, will come in and ask the court to order the individual to go get rehab, essentially, which is anywhere from 2 weeks to a month in a facility, and they'll get the help that they need for any kind of substance abuse, alcohol disorder. There's also what is called a Section 12, which is mostly the mental health part of it. Any individual can come into court, anybody, it doesn't have to be a family member. They will come into court and ask the court to have the hospital evaluate them for a 72-hour hold. So that was my primary responsibility in that office.
And to be a case specialist, what kind of special training does one need to have?
I had, previous to that training, I had 10 years with the Rhode Island Public Defender's Office, and I was a legal secretary there. I started out as a data entry with the Rhode Island Public Defender's Office, and I was promoted twice within 3 months that I was working there. My training, I do have college. I have an associate's in legal assistance. I knew at a young age that I wanted to be a secretary, but the love for the legal part of it came about when I was about 20 years old. So I decided to go to a community college and get my associates in that particular field. So I've been doing it ever since.
And you came here to be a case coordinator, I believe you said?
Yes, but there is a background to that.
Okay.
I did meet someone and we were dating for almost a year, and he moved to Nantucket from Vermont, so he's been on Nantucket for almost 20 plus years. And when I would visit Nantucket, I never even knew about Nantucket, I'm going to be honest with you. He would just describe it to me before I even came. He would describe me the cobblestones, the beaches, the lighthouses, the people, and he was in love with it, and it intrigued me. So I came to visit, and I was like, it was everything that he described to me to a T. I didn't realize you have to take a ferry to get to Nantucket, so that was a challenge. Then after dating for a year and visiting Nantucket every other weekend, the opportunity came up with Nantucket District Court, which was a case coordinator, so above what I was doing in Fall River. But I didn't get the job the first time around. The magistrate there felt that with the housing situation, he was just afraid that I was not going to have housing. So they ended up hiring somebody else that lived on the island, which was fine. I felt it wasn't meant for me at that moment. But to my surprise, comes to August, September, he had contacted me and asked me if I wanted the job. And I jumped at it and I said, yes, I will take that position. And I started in October of 2017.
And what does a coordinator do as opposed to a case specialist?
Pretty much the same thing, but Nantucket is unique. Coming from a big court, Nantucket is very unique. It's a smaller court, and I had to do a lot more than I was doing in Fall River. It's pretty much a title, but I had more responsibility as far as entering more cases. I did restraining orders. I handled the counter more. I did cash handling. I was beginning to get trained to even run a court session when the magistrate wasn't available. So that meant I was in the front of the judge, and I would call the list for the judge, for the defendants to come forth and be heard of their cases and so forth. So it was more responsibility. So in that being said, I pretty much run that office, alone when the magistrate's not available. And I just have more responsibility. I'm a bookkeeper now. So I feel that me being experienced with so many years of being in the court system, I feel that I know that I can do the register of probate. I know it's going to be a challenge, and I'm up for the challenge, and I know that I'm a quick learner. I know that it's a big responsibility because I am the one that everyone's going to see first and be responsible for a lot of the function of that office.
Let's talk about what the Register of Probate does. First of all, it's a full-time job, I assume.
It is.
How big is the staff?
There is the Register of Probate that's there now, and then the deputy of Register of Probate. So there's two every day. Monday through Friday is only two staff members.
Okay, that's more than I would have thought. And the other person is, the deputy is full-time as well, I assume.
Correct, yes, she is. Yes.
Now, where is that office?
It's on the second floor of the Nantucket Town Hall. So the second floor is all state. It's Superior, Probate, Probation, and District Court, and then one courtroom. So we're above the town clerk.
And you're closed right now, I assume. We're doing this during the pandemic.
No, we've been open since the pandemic.
The public can go in?
The public can go in right now, yes. As of, I believe it was August that we started to let the public come in, but for only certain reasons, whether it was to file documents. During the court session, we only have defendants that are being arraigned, or if there's motions from attorneys. So it's very select. Everything else would be by Zoom.
Now, you said you're a state employee, not a county employee, not a town employee, although in Nantucket, town and county are the same. Who are you answerable to? Who is your direct or your immediate superior?
My immediate superior is the magistrate, the clerk magistrate right now. He is my immediate supervisor. He's the person that if I need anything, he is the one that I have to ask.
And I assume that he as well is a state employee.
Correct.
And not
Correct.
a local employee.
Correct.
How long is that term?
For the clerk
For,
magistrate,
not for the clerk, I'm sorry, for the Register of Probate.
it's 6 years. It's a 6-year term. Mm-hmm.
And no term limits or anything like that.
Only for the register. That is the only state and employment that is an elected position.
Oh,
So
okay.
so the clerk magistrate is not an elected position. My position is not an elected position. Only the Register of Probate, even throughout the Commonwealth. So for example, Norfolk they have to also have an elected candidates to run for that position.
Well, this is a little unusual, it sounds. I mean, you're elected, your immediate superior is not elected. He or she is appointed by whom?
By the governor. By the governor.
Okay.
So the magistrate in the district court is by the governor. So they go through an extensive interview and an application process.
If there is such a thing as a typical day in being a Register of Probate, what might be going on in the office here?
In the Register of Probate?
Yes.
So pretty much it's open 5 days a week from 8 to 4. It's a lot of, the public will come in seeking divorce papers, registering their wills, estate planning, adoption, name changes. I believe the judge comes twice a month for the court sessions. When the judge is there, it's pretty busy on divorce on the family court day. It's very busy. That is the time.
It's a probate judge you're talking about, not a district court judge.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Yep. So the probate judge will come twice a month, and they'll do their own calendar, their own list, and it's a very, very busy day.
Now, some of the records you have in your office or deal with through your office, some of those are public records. For example,
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, in Massachusetts, anybody can access anybody's will. Is that correct?
Yes.
No exceptions.
No.
Okay. What other records are there, and how many of those are also public?
I believe divorces are public, marriages are public, because they also have to get the marriage license. I don't believe child adoption is public. Just like with district court, there's certain files that are not public, that are made to be for the public.
I'm curious. I think most people die with a will, but if someone dies intestate, what does your office do about that?
Well, the office would have to do a probate and decide who's going to contest the will. So I mean, I personally don't work in the office, but.
When you say do a probate, explain what that means exactly.
Well, probate of the will to decide to see what the will says and to contest it, whether or not it's a valid will.
And if there's no will,
then it's going to be, that's when the probate court gets involved to see, okay, who's going to get what.
and that could, well, it could be anything, I suppose.
Property, it could be monies.
But it could
estate.
go to, let's say someone has no living relatives and died intestate. Does the state end up with that money? If there is money to be had?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure who would get the money. I mean, I would assume that there had to be some kind of next of kin or stay in a type of probate. I'm not sure.
Now the public records we're talking about, how does one access those? Do they just come to your office and make the request?
They can make the request, or they can.
The registrar's office, I should say.
The registrar's office, they can make a request, or I believe that you can go on mass.gov and access those records as well.
And is there a charge for this?
Charges?
Yeah, if I want to come in and say, let's say I have a relative who died on Nantucket, and I want to get a copy of their will, or I want to see a copy of the will. Is there a charge for me to, I mean, I can do that, but is there a charge for me to do that?
No, because I mean, even if you wanted a copy, the copy is only 5 cents a page. That's it. If it's a certified copy, it would probably be like $2.50 for a certified copy or a tested copy.
What, if anything, would you change if you're elected to the Register of Probate?
For me, I would be more available to the public. I feel with only 2 people being in the office, whether that person's on vacation or that person's sick or what have you, there should be always someone in the office. There's a lot of people from Nantucket that go to the office for lunch, you know, because they're taking a lunch break, and the only time they can go to the office is on their lunch, and they want to grab, say, a divorce documents so they can file their paperwork, and nobody's there. So it's difficult. I just feel that for me, I would be more available. Like I said, I'm bilingual. I can speak Spanish, so I'd be able to help them out, assist them with questions about how to fill out a certain document and so forth. I just feel that I would be readily available.
Last question. Fall River and Nantucket are obviously 2 very different places, even though geographically they're not that far apart.
Right.
What difference were you not expecting, if there was one, moving from Fall River to Nantucket and working in your field?
The difference in Fall River and Nantucket community. Being in Nantucket for 3 years, I've had so much support, and I didn't grow up in Nantucket. I wasn't born and raised there. I didn't spend summers there. I have more relationships, more friendships than Fall River. The community has supported me in so many different ways, from looking for housing, supporting me in this election, supporting me in the job that I have now. It's overwhelming, and it's just so appreciative for me how much that they believe in me. And like I said, they haven't known me for that long, and I feel that I built some great relationships with the people that I've met so far.
Barbara Mendez, independent candidate for Nantucket County Register of Probate. Thank you for coming in today. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. And thank you for tuning into Nantucket Community Television. I'm Charlie Walters for 2020 election coverage at Nantucket Community Television. Thanks for joining us.